What's going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about TRON ARES. In this long-awaited third installment, we follow a highly sophisticated program named ARES, who is sent from the digital world into the real world to overcome a dangerous mission. After 28 years, not many people were expecting to get a sequel to the original Tron movie, but I think after Legacy, not many people were expecting to wait 15 more years for a third installment. Now, I didn't necessarily grow up with the original Tron movie. I put off seeing it for such a long time that I just didn't think the visual aesthetic was going to appeal to someone like me. I really dug Joseph Kosinski's Tron Legacy for what it was and what it did for cinema back in 2010, but I knew with the release of Tron Ares around the corner, I think it was time to finally lend an open mind to where it all started. So I watched it like 3 times in 2 days, but I am not planning on making an entire review video for it, but to easily summarize it, that was a fever dream for Disney. That was the definition of being ahead of its time before even computer graphics were even a thing. They had to be resourceful and imaginative with what they were able to achieve with green screen effects back in the day, as well as the tight budget they probably had. And understanding the story, the characters, and the grid, it really made me appreciate Tron Legacy just a lot more than I already have. And also probably anticipating what I really wanted to see from a third movie. When I first saw the trailers, I was just at awe with the visual effects, with how far we have come, how much has improved over the years. And while I was excited for this wonderful cast ensemble, for a possibly darker tone and a metal soundtrack, my mind began to raise many concerns. First off, where the heck is Sam Flynn and Cora? I wanted to follow up with that story and where they are now. What are they doing about, the company of Encom? Where are they? Why are they not involved with this? And boy, oh boy, this turned out to be a mixed bag. Starting off with the positives, 9 Inch Nails. Thank you guys so much for the expensive 2-hour music video. But all jokes aside, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are normally credited under their actual names when it comes to the film industry, and I thought it was nice and fitting that Disney wanted them to label themselves and credit themselves as their band name, 9 Inch Nails, underneath this project, because they do deliver a wonderful score and soundtrack for this. It is just the DNA of 9 Inch Nails that is injected and fused with the backdrop of Tron Ares that it delivers such a banger of a score and soundtrack. Like even the one particular song, As Alive As You Need Me, that one I have on repeat like every morning for the last few weeks now. The visuals and the special effects are the price of admission here, including the exquisite light show you saw in the trailers. And although if you have enjoyed the style and the mechanics of what Legacy have brought forth from the grid, you are going to love the various systems they get to play around with, especially when the artillery from the digital world enters and is being used in the real world. In the digital realm of Dillinger Systems, a lot of the uniforms, armor, weapons, and their entire landscape is just engulfed in neon red lights, opposed to our heroes who have always rocked the blue streaks. And for these AI programs to have such limitations in the real world really culminates to a lot of catastrophic and eye-popping sequences that I just could not get enough of the action that we are treated to. Getting into my mixed and negative opinions, and I hate to say this, but the script was paper thin. It was derivative of many movies that we have seen before and probably have done it better. I mean, you got Blade Runner 2049, The Creator, Free Guy, iRobot, the Matrix franchise, the Terminator franchise, Ready Player One, Wreck-It Ralph, and so much more. It was just a little laughable to easily follow the directions that they were taking and also to see how fast they were to break their own rules. I mean, one little example is when Evan Peters' character is presenting in front of some government officials talking about how efficient, fast, and tireless his digital soldiers were. And then there's one sequence where Greta Lee's character outruns and pisses off one of them. I mean, can you imagine if those programs got tested on day one? Fail. Getting into the talent here, Jared Leto as our lead AI program who becomes self-aware and seeks to become sentient, ARES. Now, while Jared Leto's real-life allegations and choices of roles have not been viewed positively in the public's eye, I have always championed Leto as a wonderful actor, but in this case, I personally think that he was miscasted as much as the material of the lead character being very one-dimensional. He surprisingly delivers a subdued performance here, but for a program to be struggling with identity and expression, probably should have had his emotional talent advance as much as the story was progressing. And I'm sorry, but just quoting 80s lyrics as a trait does not make you fully human. And like my issues with Keanu Reeves in The Matrix Resurrections, what is with these big shot celebrities and not wanting to cut their hair or shave their beard for a role? You are not the Messiah. You have no reason to appear the way that you do in the digital realm, especially when you have a helmet on. Greta Lee plays Eve Kim, and while I do appreciate seeing her in a big blockbuster like this one, I think that what they do with her backstory as well as what they do with her character is very underutilized, especially for Lee's talents, and where we should be fleshing out her character emotionally is easily skimmed over with a digital montage. And when she's working alongside with ARES on screen, oh my goodness. She becomes more of the exposition tool, trying to explain everything to ARES about the human condition and how it works. I was truly looking forward to Evan Peters just chewing up the scenery as Julian Dillinger, the grandson of the original's antagonist. And while Peters is tackling the typical trope of a tech villain who's in a suit, tapping on the keyboards as well as shouting his demands, I really thought he knew how to stir the plot a little thicker. Definitely a much softer performance in comparison to his works in the horror genre, but the possibility of Evan Peters being in more TRON movies, bring it on. Gillian Anderson and Jeff Bridges felt like they came by to pick up a paycheck because none of the material that they were given genuinely adds anything to their thankless roles or the story, especially with Jeff Bridges returning as Kevin Flynn. I mean, he's the creator. The movie, the franchise started out with him, and the really big pivotal scene that he's given really just felt like nostalgia bait. I mean, you could have ripped that entire scene out and it wouldn't have changed a thing. Don't get me wrong, I was very much pleased with some of the callbacks, references, and the fan service that we were given. It really put a smile on my face, but by the time that we are given a full plate of that, I was just so disinterested with the way that the pacing was just skewed with how many times they have jumped from system to system, coming back into the real world and jumping back into the grid. I was done. Overall, I don't think that this movie deserves a lot of hate. I think that people are very much blowing it out of proportion, especially on TikTok, calling this the worst movie of the year. It is not that bad. I have seen a lot worse this year, trust me. But it is flawed, you know, and it's kind of nice to see how people are bringing it to the conversation, being excited for a Disney property that is not an animated film, that is not Star Wars or a Marvel property for once. I did hear buzz that Disney might pull the plug on this, but if we do get a sequel, I would love to see our ARES cast meet up with our Legacy cast. I think that would be an interesting installment, but let's not wait 10, 20, 30 years to get that answer. Go ahead and check it out on the biggest screen as possible. Go support this film, especially if it's for 9-inch nails, and check it out in 3D the way it was meant to be. All right, guys, that's all I get to share about that movie. Go ahead and check it out if you want. Look forward to more reviews. I'm Jaren Ugbanawag, and I want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. I'll see you guys at the theater. In the meanwhile, stay safe, stay spooky.